Throughout the year, further sharing and planning of number fluency has taken place in team meetings, and this is an area that most classrooms already are implementing well, and we've also introduced mathletics into the classrooms now as well. In the initial 3 days, PD at the beginning of the year, we also shared what we knew about the E5 model and modelled a making choices lesson in the context of this. We provided staff with a planning template that they could then go away and experiment with themselves. Okay, our academic visit. The focus for Peter's visit in February was an analysis of and advice in response to our NAPLAN results for 2008, advice on essential resources, and identifying the key priority elements of numeracy we should be focusing on, and to model lessons in the Prep 1 and Grade 4 classes which build understanding and cater for a wide ability range within the junior and middle school. Timetables were manipulated, and our school principal and AP took classes to ensure that all teachers were able to sit in and observe the modelled lessons. The observations were immediately followed up by a debrief with Peter. The response from staff was positive and enthusiastic, and they had a desire to see further examples of these styles of lessons. Some teachers went on to experiment and adapt these lessons in their classroom also. The NAPLAN data that was looked at with Peter, we were encouraged to hear that we'd actually done well, generally. In numeracy, our median was above the state and national median. Peter noted, however, that the tail end of the Year 5 data was short, showing that the previous Year 4 teacher had done a good job at lifting the lower cohort of students. However, the top end of the graph shows that the top students may not have been extended, which ties in a bit with what he's already said this morning. This demonstrated to us the need for teachers to be extending student at both ends of the ability spectrum. We then looked at our year level reports, and Peter identified a cohort of Indigenous girls who needed to be monitored as they'd performed below the expected level. On his advice, we conducted an early years numeracy interview with the grade 4 girls to further identify what they could do and what they needed to work on next. They also, then the teachers developed learning plans, and the students also received extra tuition through the 1X strategy. Our recent results, as presented here on the online testing, comparing the earlier in the year and the most recent testing, show also, you can see this is the second page of the results, and those girls are again down at the low end. You can see they have made progress if you consider you can compare those two data sources, but yeah, once again they're still down the bottom. The teacher, however, says that that they have actually made, you can see, fantastic progress in evidence of progress within the classroom. We decided that to, in response to this as well, to look at the Year 3 NAPLAN data for this year to see if there might be a pattern with the Indigenous girls. On doing this, we did find one, and there was a group of Indigenous girls, again, falling below the expected level in numeracy. So again, we've followed this up with conducting early years numeracy interviews and creating learning plans for them. And once again, they are the three down the bottom on the results here with the stars. Okay. On 3 subsequent visits, Peter has workshop staff on the 2 models, building understanding and making choices. He also made links with the E5 model. We timetabled the workshops after school, replacing staff meetings. Again, the response to the workshops was mostly positive. A small group of teachers were also released from their classrooms for a day to work with Peter to develop a number of rubrics used as an assessment record, and also for planning for teachers to be able to identify where students need to go next. We identified number as being the priority area of numeracy, and so started with this. We used Peter's expertise to identify key areas that number can be broken into. We added in some skills such as using number lines and some other understandings, and shuffled some around at various stages through discussions. The discussions that took place deepened our understanding. This was presented to staff and it was approved, and now staff are using the rubrics as a way to assess students this report writing time. And they're familiar with this format because we've drawn this out of our literacy rubrics, which we already use. And then this is passed on to the following teacher at the end of the year. So there's that consistency of knowledge being passed on about the students. So where are we now? Looking at the AiZ numeracy planning document, which has come out over the last week or so, we found that there are some things in that we are already covering in some way. In monitoring and assessing, we have PLTs, which are using a variety of sources to inform their learning logs and ILPs. We're not proficient at using evidence of what children write, say, make and do, but we're getting there with that. We've begun to use our assessment rubrics, which will form part of our numeracy assessment schedule. We've, of course, participated in the online testing. And as I've said, we've got the procedure for passing on the information to the next teacher for following year. In teaching and learning, we have timetabled one AP session for each year level planning together, and also another for PLT meetings where we look at our learning logs and needs of the students. Staff have been introduced to a variety of planning templates. However, currently there's no common template used across the school. The 2-3 teachers plan weekly together and have explicitly been focusing on developing lessons across a week using the Launch, Explore, Summarise model, ensuring that we're differentiating between the students. Daily number fluency is a feature of most classrooms. Staff have been introduced to the E5 framework and are exploring this. We have an established practice and pro forma for ILPs, and are also using the learning logs. Professional learning. We've established professional learning teams at year level, and so the early years and middle years teams, and the College of Teachers, which is the Steiner teachers. We have established peer observation procedures. Teachers find someone that they are comfortable working with, and then they organise with the AP or the principal, who will come in and release them so that they can, during class time, go and watch each other teach.